Hello and welcome back to my channel. But since it's been a minute since I've uploaded, I am wondering how all of you are doing, how your pets are doing, etc, etc. I figured I would just start it off light and come back with a top 10 video because I figure the holidays are happening or coming up depending on what you celebrate. So I want to do a few videos that are kind of like not surrounding that but could be helpful during this time of year. So I decided to do the top 10 Betta fish tanks. I feel like there are a ton of Betta fish tanks out there, a lot of them being bad, and so a lot of times we just end up buying like the simple 5-gallon tank or whatever it may be, and there are just a lot more options out there. You just have to look. So I compiled a list of my top 10 Betta fish tanks. There's a whole price range, they're all different, and there's plenty of options to choose from. So whether you're going to get a fish tank right now while you're watching this video, or maybe since the holidays are coming up, someone got you a fish for the holiday and you need a tank now. These are the top 10 tanks that I have compiled a list of. There's obviously more tanks out there. Some could be better, some could be worse, but these are just 10 that I compiled. And before I get into the 10 tanks, I did want to just preface some basics about Betta tanks. So one, you don't really want anything smaller than 3 gallons, and mostly you should really strive for a 5-gallon tank or larger. You should never house a Betta fish with another Betta fish. So those tanks that you see that are like a split like tank that's like a half-gallon on each side and they advertise it with 2 Bettas, that's no good. Bowls are not good for Betta fish, and in my opinion, try to stay away from plastic because it just never ends well. I feel like any plastic tank that I have had or other people have had, the water's always cloudy, the fish usually gets sick. I don't know, I just feel like there's a lot of problems with plastic tanks. It also cannot hurt to have more room for your Betta fish. And last but not least, even though this video is about tanks, do remember that a filter is very, very, very important, and a heater in your Betta's tank. But getting into tank number 1, I wanted to start off simple, and of course we just have a basic 5-gallon tank. Now the good thing about being able to just buy a tank is that the price is a little bit cheaper. You can probably find a 5-gallon tank from anywhere from like $5 to $10, maybe $15. But the good thing about just a simple tank is that you get to customize it however you want, with whatever lid, whatever filter, whatever setup you want. You just get to build it all and put it all together. Moving on to number 2. This is another 5-gallon, but don't worry, there's other sizes further in the video. But this is a 5-gallon Marineland Portrait tank. Now this tank is kind of like a vertical tank, so it's like a rectangle, which is a little bit different of a shape. It also has like a floating appearance to it. And this already does come with a lid. It's kind of rimless, a light, and a filter already built in. I'm not exactly sure how great the filter is for a Betta fish. All of these tanks that come with filters, it's always up to you on your preference. However, in general, as long as the flow is not too heavy, the filter should be good, and as long as your water is clear and not causing any problems for your Betta, then it's fine. And on Amazon, you can actually get it for less than $50, which isn't too bad. I mean, considering if you built your whole tank, it would probably be about the same price, maybe more. Number 3 is going to be the Fluval Spec 5. This is another one of those all-in-one tanks. This one is a little bit more expensive, but it is kind of like a, I don't know, I don't want to say luxury tank, but it does have a nice appeal to it. This one does retail for around $100 depending on where you get it. Obviously, all of these tanks you could probably find used on other websites. It doesn't have a floating appeal to it, but I feel like it's a nice setup regardless. I feel like it looks pretty clean. And something I really like about this tank is that the filter is on the left side, and so you don't have this big bulky filter in the back of like the view or in the middle of the view of your tank, how you set it up in your Betta fish. It's just all right there, all how you set it up, and I feel like it just looks a lot better. Number 4 is going to be the Higer Horizon 8-gallon. Now this one is kind of a completely different look than the other tanks. I don't even know what shape to describe it as, but basically the front of it is kind of like curved. The water filtration system is a little bit different than the other tanks as well. It kind of comes out with like these little waterfall type things. I don't really know what to call it. Now I don't think this one comes with a lid, which is essential when you have a Betta fish because sometimes they can jump out, but it does have the light and obviously the tank and the filter. The other cool thing about this tank is that it actually comes with a background. So it has like a rocky background, which not a lot of tanks come with backgrounds. You can obviously purchase them separately, but backgrounds can be very expensive for fish tanks. For a tank this size, it definitely could easily be $50, $60, $100 for the background, but this one already comes with it as well as everything else that you need aside from the heater. So for the price, I mean, it's like around $100 brand new. I feel like it's a really good tank. and it definitely will give your fish that like naturalistic vibe, which if you like to set up your tanks like that, I do, it definitely can make your fish feel comfortable. Getting a little bit bigger here, number 5 is the Fluval Flex 9 gallon. So this tank is kind of like a cube, except for the front of it is also kind of like curved. This again is a kit. It does come with, you know, the filter, the light, the lid. And now the cool thing about this one, I think, is that because it's a cube, that means that the filtration is in the back, and instead of it being just like a hang on the back filter and your heater and stuff like that, it's just a plain black background. So most betta fish are brightly colored, and even if they're not, with this black background that already comes with it, that you don't have to like stick onto the back of the tank or paint or anything like that, I feel like it will really make your plants, your gravel, and your fish really stand out. Also, this is a 9-gallon tank, so given like the 8-gallon tank, this 9-gallon tank, when you're getting closer to like a 10-gallon tank, you can definitely start considering some betta tank mates. Obviously not all are safe. I did make a video on the unsafe betta fish tank mates, but overall it really just comes down to your betta. Some bettas don't do well with any other fish or snails or anything, while others do really well with having other tank mates in their tank. So definitely do your research, but I am just mentioning that as you get into these larger tanks, you definitely can start thinking about having other tank mates with your betta. Number 6 is just going to be a regular 10-gallon. So I did want to throw in just a regular 10-gallon because I feel like with a 10-gallon, you start getting into, again, that territory of being able to have like tank mates with your betta. So if you want a larger tank, but you don't want to have like a Fluval Flex 9 that's like $100, you can start off with a 10-gallon, which during like Petco's like $1 per gallon sale or at Walmart, it's around $10-15 for a 10-gallon. You definitely can make some like DIY lids, and a sponge filter is not very expensive at all. So altogether, you could probably have your whole tank set up for around like $40-50 for a 10-gallon. Now, number 7 is going to be another cheaper option. So this is going to be the Aquaculture 5-gallon starter kit. Kit does come from Walmart. It's a 5-gallon kit. It comes with the lid, tank, filter. I don't think it comes with a heater. However, the filter is not very good quality, and I don't really recommend using. If you change it out for a sponge filter, it definitely can be a good starter setup tank. Price-wise, it may not be like the best. However, it's easily accessible. It's at Walmart, so pretty much everywhere there's a Walmart. I did want to do a few rimless tanks because rimless tanks do look pretty nice. So number 8 on my list, going to be the Aquarium rimless 5.5-gallon tank. Is around $30-$35. So again, not a bad price, but you're getting a better look for that. However, this specific rimless tank, for whatever reason, the bottom actually isn't rimless. However, this does not come with a filter or a lid or a heater or anything like that. It is simply just the rimless tank. So it is a little bit expensive if you're looking at it from that point of view. Number 9 is another rimless tank. However, this one is a kit, so it does come with a lot more stuff and it is bigger. This one is a Petco brand tank, and normally I don't really like to, not advertise, but I don't really like to include their stuff. But in this case, for the price and the look of it and what it includes, it isn't a bad tank. So this one is the Imagitarium frameless 6.8-gallon kit. This one does come with a lid and a filter and a light. And I'm not entirely sure, again, about this filter. A lot of filters that come in kits aren't the greatest. 6.8-gallon tank. Again, it's almost 7 gallons, so it's a decent size for a betta fish. It's also rimless, and this one's kind of like, I don't know what shape to describe it. I can't tell if it's a cube or if it's a rectangle. I really don't know. But this one does, again, have that black background, so it will really make your plants, your decorations, your fish really stand out. Now, number 10 on my list is going to be something a little different, okay? So I feel like not many people would probably include this in their list, but in my researching of tanks and stuff, I'm not 100% sure on this, so don't quote me. But I found this tank, kind of. It's called the Aqua Sprouts Garden Ecosystem Aquarium Tank Setup thing. I don't really know. I'll link it down below. None of this stuff, by the way, is sponsored. But basically, you put your 10-gallon tank underneath it, and because of the way the filtration runs, I guess, I'm not 100% sure. But however the system works, basically the fish poop is the fertilizer for the plants above it. So I don't know how you guys feel about eating plants that were grown with fish poop, but it's an option. It does hold a 10 gallon, so that's a decent sized tank for a betta fish. I'm not sure that a betta fish would really produce enough waste to make this successful, although with it being a 10 gallon, you could have tank mates, but again, how much waste are those tank mates really going to produce? I mean, maybe a snail, a certain snail or something like that would, you know, give more waste, but I'm not really sure it would work. Obviously, do your own research on this tank and everything else before you purchase it and, you know, give it to your betta. But I just want to include it in the list because I feel like it opens up some new opportunities and ideas as opposed to just being like, here's a glass tank, here's another glass tank. This time I gave you guys a whole garden bed that, you know, uses your fish's poop to grow the stuff. But that is 10 or my top 10 fish tanks for a betta fish. I mean, again, they're ranging in like size. You can always go bigger. I don't recommend going smaller. Obviously, do your own research on all of these tanks. And like I said, anything you give your betta, because every betta, although they all have like pretty much the same needs, there may be some bettas that do well with one thing versus another. And obviously not every single thing is going to be uniform for all betta fish. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helps you figure out what tank you want to get for your betta fish or upgrade your betta fish to. So if you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that like button, comment down below your favorite fish tank from this video and what fish tank you currently have for your fish. But other than that, I will see you guys in the very next video very, very soon. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point, but I'll see you in the next video. Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure to hit that like button, comment down below, hit that subscribe button if you would like to watch more of my content. Other than that, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.